Montclair has embraced ADUs. We've seen a significant increase in interest from the public. My staff has been very busy responding to questions, spending time with homeowners, going through the regulations, exploring their options. Quite honestly, there's not a one-size-fits-all approach to ADUs because Montclair's been built slowly over many, many years. And so we don't have a standard lot pattern. So as a result, we have to spend a lot of time with property owners about how they can create an ADU on their property. We have taken inspiration from the work of MGAP and the work of the AARP design competition. My staff has put together a booklet to be used by property owners to kind of explain what is an ADU, what are the possibilities. The design competition resulted in some wonderful models. I think you can see here on the table these models that design students created about how an ADU can be created mostly, not entirely, but mostly within the regulations that we established. And this does create some inspiration. But the book that we created, where we used the actual designs that were submitted, like this, have been really valuable because homeowners come in, property owners come in, they look at what options there are, and then we make copies of it, they take it back home with them, and they work with their design professionals to see if it will fit on their particular property. Now these are for separate accessory dwelling units within a new structure on the property. That's been the biggest area of interest, is creating a new ADU on the property. Practically speaking, that doesn't work for every single property. So there's a lot of people who come in who are interested in converting their garages. We have some people that come in that are interested in converting portions of their principal structure of their home on their property. So I think it's been very inspirational right now. And just to give you a little background about how effective it's been, in the past, before we had our ADU ordinance in place, we had a very restrictive ordinance allowing accessory dwelling units. And so in my term here, between 2010 and 2020, there were probably 4 applications for accessory dwelling units. They had to go to a board, they had to get approval. So we did have 4 built over that period of time. Since this ordinance was passed in 2023, I believe, I have the date somewhere here in my paperwork, we've had 4 applications, and that means we've had a lot of interest, but 4 actually proceeded with applications, no variances. They were able to come to our office, submit their application, we approved it, and we shipped it over to the building department, and they're in various stages of approval. I think we had 2 in 2023 and 2 in 2024. 2 of them, I think 3 of them are under construction. None of them actually have their certificates of occupancy yet, but we're seeing activity. 2 of those are for new structures, new ADUs on the property. One was for an adaptive reuse of an existing garage, and one was to create an ADU within the existing structure. I also have pending before the zoning board an ADU application to create an ADU on the 2nd story of a garage. We don't permit those right now. Again, we say it has to be on the 1st floor because we're concerned about maintaining privacy to the adjacent property owners. So we'll see how that one goes before the Board of Adjustment. It's scheduled within the next couple of months. First question here is, what are the problems or the challenges for implementing our ADU program? Honestly, one of the problems is we have some pretty restrictive requirements for accessory structures on individual properties. We amended our requirements for accessory structures in the past couple of years because of complaints raised by neighbors about the size of accessory structures on some of the properties in Montclair. So we had to come up with some additional requirements. They may be a little tight because they are pretty, we have a restriction of any side wall of a accessory structure cannot exceed 24 feet. That's pretty limiting when it comes to creating an ADU. So I think that's one of the things that we're going to take a look at, perhaps relieving that restriction a bit. Obviously, the other issue is we don't allow ADUs to be on the second floor of an accessory structure. I think we're going to have to see how that progresses before the boards. The other issue is, honestly, right now, financing. Construction costs are very high. So particularly with interest rates right now, we anticipate that those costs will decrease when interest rates come down, and we'll actually see more construction of these ADUs. So right now, what we see is people come here for inspiration, for ideas, to get an idea of what they can do on their properties. The value of these models is people can get an idea of how they can be laid out, because our maximum size is 800 square feet. It's not big. So if you look at some of these models that we have here, you can see how you can, within 800 square feet, fit a kitchen and a living area and a bedroom and a bathroom, and design it so that it works well in terms of the flow of space. There's no one thing that people are looking for. I think it really is just helping people visualize how these are not going to be a little box. You can actually separate the spaces.